Hi everybody, my name is Shannon. Welcome to my channel, Another Yarn. Thank you so much for joining me today. I greatly appreciate it. Oh my goodness. So, did you guys, hi, are you guys new here? If you're new, go ahead and like, subscribe, share the channel. You know, all that wonderful stuff that you're supposed to do. You've stumbled upon a yarn channel. If you couldn't tell, I like yarn and knitting and crocheting and making things and dreaming about knitting and crocheting and making things and sometimes just touching the yarn. I'm just saying, if it's, you know, like a kind of a day, just coming in my special little yarn cave, right? This is my yarn cave. It's my yarn cave. Coming in here and being surrounded by the yarn just uplifts my mood. And if I'm not smart enough to do that on my own, my husband will tell me, go away, go touch your yarn, leave me alone. You need to go touch your yarn, right? So he knows. It's just, that's how that goes. Well, of course, I was playing with yarn and everything. And if you saw, was it last week? I bought a new pattern. Oh, I collect patterns too. Yeah, I do. Knitting and crocheting patterns. I collect some of them with kind of a, there are times with no intention of actually ever making the design. There is a knitting pattern called Fox Paw. I'll put a little blinker or whatever, picture or whatever up. But that one, oh my goodness, that talked to me and it talked to me and it talked to me. And every time I would go search through Ravelry or anything, you know, when it first came out, it was like always right there. And no matter what I was looking at, that was there. And yeah, I had to buy it. I did. Have I ever done anything with it or made anything out of it? No. No, I have not. But I read that pattern from cover to cover and I got a lot of joy out of it. And after I did that, the pattern left me alone. It no longer, you know, just like kept me up going, you have to try it. You have to do this. So there are some that are like that. This is called Flourish. This is a sweater pattern that I saw and I'm like, oh my goodness, I have not seen anything like that. Look at the detail on that. You've got, I didn't know it, but there's brioche knitting in there. You've got some cables in there. You've got where the stitches move, you know, you've got left leanings and right leanings, you know, for knitting where the stitches kind of move and they create a beautiful design. And I'm like, oh, it's so pretty. And I didn't wait. I bought the pattern. There was no waiting, you know, and last week I talked about that. I did not wait, which surprised me because normally I let the stupid thing talk to me for a while and then I'm like, all right, fine, I'll buy the pattern. And, you know, as far as patterns go, it was not the least expensive I have purchased. The pattern was $10 and it comes in one size. One size, that's it, and it was $10. I'm like, I can make it work, you know, because if you use bigger yarn, it'll be bigger. If you use smaller yarn, it'll be smaller. It's kind of how that goes. You know, and then the pattern that they said was a 42-inch chest. I'm like, I can work with that, you know. And they talked about it for like somebody, I don't know what 165 centimeters is. I still haven't figured it out. I just don't care. You know, so it was like that. But I'm like, I can do that. And wasn't really thinking I would make it, or you know, no. You know, because I just really thought this was my typical. I'm just collecting and adding to my collection and it just makes me happy. And I was going to look at the pattern and read over it and dream about all the things that I would change. Because let's face it, you know, how often do we get a pattern and going, I don't want to change a thing about it. I want everything, you know, because yeah, that's just how that works. I looked over the pattern. I read it. I ended up at my yarn store and everything. And I ended up with a sweater quantity of these. Are you kidding me? Yeah, this right here. Yes, this is a lace weight. This is a fuzzy, it's only 50 grams. This is 100 grams. This is 50 grams. Only 50 grams. This is like half the weight of this, right? Literally half the weight. 514 yards in this, 440 in this. It is such a fine, I mean, look at that. It is a fine, fine little lace weight fuzzy thing. And I immediately, after doing that, I cast on a gauge swatch, right? This, some other fingering weight. I didn't want to use that one, right? It's just some bright blue fingering weight. I'm not sure what that brand is, but it looks really cool, right? I'm like, okay. I measured it. I'm like, yeah, it'll work. I don't know why I bothered doing a gauge swatch. Gauges lie. They lie, right? So I did a gauge swatch and everything. I'm gonna cast on. Oh, size 10, 6 millimeter US 6mm needles. Wow. I normally use smaller needles, right? I'm using smaller yarn, smaller needles. This is a fingering weight and a lace weight fuzzy alpaca blend. Oh, if you weren't here last week, let's see. This is, the yarn is the yarn company, the Alpaca Yarn Company. The yarn is called Tickle. It is a lace weight, 55% baby alpaca, 25% fine merino, 24% nylon for strength. And this is a Malabrigo, which, oh my gosh, Malabrigo has some gorgeous, stunning colors. If you didn't see the one that I did on their Metamorphosis socks, definitely check that video out. Oh my gosh. Never knew Malabrigo sold yarn in pre-wound cakes at a gorgeous gradient. But anyway, that's another one. So this is the 100% superwash merino, right? Look at this. It's just going to be stunning. I mean, that's stunning. It's such a moody, stormy blue. Well, I had to cast it on. I did cast it on, and I'm so thrilled. Let's see. So let's see. Let me pull that out. Look at this. That is, look at that lace. Look at that. That is the fuzzy lace weight. And oh, then I just immediately dropped it. And then this is my Malabrigo. See? Right? So I got all this. I'm working it. So I have put some work into it. So really thrilled with that. You're like, well, shut up and stop talking, lady. Let me see the progress. Okay. I have not put it on try-on cables or anything along that line. Truthfully, I'm not gonna. It's gonna be a surprise. Will it fit me? I hope so. If it doesn't, someone's getting a beautiful sweater. Look at that. I am approximately 8 inches into the body of the sweater. Let me see if I can. I'm not going to pull it off on the try-on cords, but I am going to put it on a little bit. And the reason being is I'm going to stretch that out a little so we can both see it, to see what the cables and lace look like. And the last thing I want to do is to drop a bunch of my stitches, because that would be really sad. So I'm still not going to try it on me. Not going to do it. I don't know if this is going to fit. No clue. But look at that. So I've got it just a little bit on the cables, right? Look at the movement of this. All right, I'll put it up. All right. I'll do it a little bit more so we can kind of see, because we're kind of curious, aren't we? I'm curious. I haven't done this. All right. And I figure with that lightweight and that lace, it's going to be able to stretch. So if it was too small, it'd be fine. If it's too big, whatever, I'll make it work. But look at that. Let's see. Okay, so it's growing a lot bigger than I thought. When I was looking at it on the needles, it looks like I'm knitting a lot tighter than what I did on my swatch. But now that I've taken this off like that, it's going to fit me and my husband both. So I don't know. I'm just going to go with it, and it'll fit somebody, and it'll be lovely. This is why I didn't want to put on the try-on cables. At this point, I just don't want to know. But how stunning is that? It feels like a dream. You can see the brioche stitches there. You've got cables going down here. You've got that wonderful leaf-looking motif. There's one right here. There's one right there. Look at that. Look at all the stunning movement in this. So I am 44 rows into this. At the 88 row mark, it gets broken off. So at 88 rows, I would go like this. So it's going to be double from here. So I don't know. It'll stretch down, maybe. I don't know. I think I got a problem. Look at that. All right, so here we go. Can you see that design? This is the most I've looked at it. I'm just like, at this point, it's going to be a surprise and it'll fit somebody. But how stunning is that? That beautiful merino wool, the alpaca, the blend. Oh my gosh. You see those textures? So the way the pattern is designed, there are 34 stitches per repeat. Okay, simple enough. So it's 204 stitches around. So it's 6 repeats. All right, I can do that. And they're not difficult. They're really not difficult. Got it. I'm excited. We're moving along. And then after every 22 rows, the chart changes. So either the stitches shift, you do cables a little bit differently, but every 22 rows, the chart changes. So I've gone through 2 of the charts right now, and the charts fill up the entire page. I'm not going to focus on it hardcore, but this is 2 of the charts right there, that entire page, right? So what that does, and yeah, I know it moved hard, but move fast because, you know, I bought the pattern. But what that is I didn't have to expand the pattern any. That was 44 rows, taking up an 8.5 by 11 inch page paper. 34 stitches, 44 rows. Hello, if you've done anything with charts, you know you have to blow that type of a chart up big time so you can see it. It's already like that. I mean, that's amazing. So I've gone through 2 of the charts. Once I do 2 more, then I split off for the sleeves, and then go back and forth. And that'll be a little bit more cumbersome because there's shaping and there's leaning stitches. Every row has leaning stitches, like a slip knit, okay, you know, or a knit 2 together, whatever. So if you're doing the same pattern on the back side, you know, you're actually doing it in rows, you have to, you know, purl 2 through the back loop or something like that to get that lean to be correct on the right hand side. So there's not a relief row. It's not like you do all your shaping on one row and then a row of purl, you know, or a knit. It's not like that. So you will have a little bit of, you know, having to reverse your stuff. That's fine. The other thing that I looked at is I've got the 88 stitches before the underarm. Right now I'm at 44. And then once, I think the whole thing is around 150-ish rows, and I'm at row 44. Yes, that's amazing. So this doesn't look like it's close to a third of something, but I'll take it. I'm a little concerned by taking it off the needles like that because that looks gargantuan. But like I said, at this point, I'm just going to go with it. I don't know if this yarn frogs well. I have no idea. I have my test swatch and I didn't pull it out because that's some fuzzy lace. I really didn't think that was going to frog at all, so I just left it. And as far as this goes, I don't know. I'm enjoying the process. So far, that's 1 week. I've got, let me verify, I think it's 8 inches. Let's see. Yeah, I have 8 inches into the sweater. All right, 8 inches. Okay, again, that's looking kind of wide. That's looking, what does that even look like? I'm not trying it on. I am not trying it on. I should not have even put it off the cables like that. I'm not trying it on. I'm convincing myself I am not going to try it on. I am not. I'm just going to make it and throw caution to the wind. Who needs a stupid gauge swatch anyway? I know. I'm not doing it. Do you believe me? Wish me luck. All right, so this laying flat, the bottom says 22 inches. Perfect. Okay, and then the top looks like the, what I mean by the bottom. I did 3 rows of ribbing, not anything big, right? Just 3 rows of ribbing, tighter needle, and the rest of it is on the 10s. The ribbing was on size 7s, and the rest is on size 10s. So just laying flat, not stretched. That does look like 22 inches. It just, you know, that top is really stretched a lot more. That's okay. You also look at the weight of a sweater. Not that this is going to be heavy. This is like light as an air. The weight of the sweater will pull things down a little bit to kind of help with that length. Because again, it's a one size. It just is what it is. And I've never done that before. I've not. And I'm just throwing caution to the wind. Immediately bought the pattern. No intentions of making it. Absolutely no intentions of making. I just didn't want it to talk to me. I did not want it to talk to me. It was too pretty. I just like, no, I saw it and it was available and I could get it. And I'm like, just don't talk to me. So I bought the pattern and then I ended up buying yarn. I had no intentions of buying yarn. Holy cow, I had no intentions of coming home with the sweater weight count on a yarn. And then I definitely didn't plan on swatching it. I mean, that's crazy. I'm like, what the heck? You know, who am I? What have you done with me? It's like, oh, what? That's not, no, that's crazy talk. So here I am. 8 inches in a week. I don't know, maybe that mint green sweater that I did last month, you know, the Kaylee sweater, that was worsted weight yarn on size 6, 7, 8, I don't remember. This is, you know, this fingering and lace on size 10s, you know, 204 stitches. I mean, it's flying. I got 8 inches in a week. 8 inches in a week. I mean, there's a potential. Let's not get crazy. But there's a potential this could get done in a month, although this does have sleeves. Just saying. If you've been around, you know. If you know, you know. It does have sleeves. Just saying, it got sleeves. But look at that. I mean, what do you think? Am I just the only one that's nuts over this, or is this something that you would be drawn to also? It just feels amazing. You know, yeah, it's going to be hand washed. That's okay, right? Yeah, pretty sure it's hand wash. I mean, what's it got in? It's got luxury fibers too, you know. Oh, and this stuff is not bad. If the owner hadn't shown it to me, there's no way I would have picked this out myself. And then my husband was surprised on the colors. This is something he would have picked for me, but you know, not normally a color I go for either. I mean, all kinds of crazy. It's like, you know, what was it, a full moon or something? I don't know if that works, whatever. But for this being the baby alpaca, fine merino, and nylon, the 50 grams, 514 yards, my store charged $17 per skein. 514 yards is a lot of yardage to carry along with something else, and it fills up those gaps and those holes and everything else. The original pattern did call for 3 strands of like a light fingering weight yarn, which depending on what weight you were using or what have you, that could be pretty pricey also, or an Aran weight. Something that's like 17 stitches per inch. I measured this and that's what it looked like I was getting, but look at that. That stretches. I mean, you know, you put some extra, that's just the one repeat. You put some extra weight on it when you've got all the other repeats. It's going to fit a wide range of sizes. It's going to be a comfortable, loose sweater on a petite type person. It's set for 42-inch bust. That's about where I'm at as it is, so that works out well. You know, if it came out, the sweater was 40 inches and I'm 42-ish, whatever, we're not getting there, it'd be fine. It would be negative ease. And if my gauge is off and I've got more towards 45, 48 inches on the sweater, well, then it's a drapier sweater. There is no shaping on this. There's no waist shaping. There's nothing along that line. It is just all these gorgeous patterns cobbled together. You know, I mean, you can, I don't know, this white, you can't see it too well either, but you can see, look at all that. You've got this like leaf looking motif, right? Going up there and how they're staggered. You've got those, you've got these like palm fronds. I don't know what you call those. That's where that brioche knitting is. And you've got all that movement and texture. And you know what I like about that? It's a one-of-a-kind piece. Now, am I the only one in the world making this? No, I get that. So what are the chances of me running into somebody else while I'm wearing my sweater that has made the exact same sweater? This sweater. Yeah. It might not be a one-of-a-kind, but it might as well be a one-of-a-kind. And doing that, I mean, that's a luxury piece, at least to me anyway. So I am working on my one-of-a-kind luxury piece, and there you have it. We'll see how that goes along. 8 inches in a week. That's crazy. That is crazy. So I am stunned. I am absolutely thrilled. And so far, having a blast. I'm also just taken aback at how easy the graphs and the charts are to read. There's definitely cable in there, but there's not so much that it is slowing you down constantly. I love cables, by the way. I do. Cables and lace and bobbles, I think they're great. But sometimes they can be really, really slow, especially if you have cables like every row, every other row, every third row kind of a thing. Your cables are not that close together. So you have multiple rounds that are relief rounds, so to speak. You don't have those intricate stitches. They do have them and they do add a lot of interest, but it's not every other round to where you're like, oh my gosh, it's a cable again. Oh my gosh, there's 20 cables per round and I have to do them every 3 rounds. All right, so that can be a little more cumbersome. This isn't like that. They just use a really good disbursement and placement of the stitches to give you that movement and that unique texture that I personally go for. And that's what really just threw me over the edge on this one. So that's where I'm at. Hopefully I can fly right along and maybe this can be a July sweater, but it has sleeves. It's got sleeves. We can work on that, but it's got sleeves. All right, everybody. With that, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. You guys have a great day, night, evening, whatever it happens to be. And I will talk to you again later. Bye-bye.